Hello and welcome. We have a What If episode for Magnus Protocol Season 1. It's pretty short, and there's not a lot of things to say about it per se, but I do have some things that I think are really interesting, but I am losing my voice. So let's just keep that in mind, and let's roll the intro. Real quick, Editor Trey here. Just throwing this in before the intro. Last episode, which was the Fluff episode, I mentioned that it was crazy that Sam and Alice had only been broken up for a month. That's not correct. I am positive that I just misunderstood what they were saying, and that it instead had just been a month from when Sam was hired into the OAR by the time that episode happened. There's no way it had only been a month. There's multiple mentions to it being more time than that, and them having some time to be separate and apart from each other to have moved forward. So just wanted to clear that up real quick because I was super wrong. I just misunderstood that little detail. I knew it didn't sound right when I heard it, and I was like, I mean, you saw my reaction in that video, but just anyway, intro time. This is a what if. What if they listened to Colin? And it's fun. I think it absolutely gives us some more cool stuff to theorize on. But it's also, like, very bleak, right? I mean, the timeline we're in right now is pretty bleak. But this one's very bleak. Colin was able to rip out the old system and put in a new one. And Lena fired everybody else because she didn't need extra people anymore. Alice was doing a great job all by herself. And all the rest of them kind of blame Alice for that. Now, still need Colin, of course, to be able to run tech support, but it's a brand new system. No more Freddy, no more anything else. It all works perfectly fine. They're working in the daytime now, and they're getting weekends off and bank holidays. But Sam is gone, Celia never got hired, and Gwen is gone. And there's a little moment where they talk about how Alice cheered when Gwen left. Probably didn't help Gwen's mood that we're going to see in just a minute. But it's weird to say, knowing what happens in Protocol, right? This is the worst timeline in my book. This is an incredibly bleak timeline. Of all those things are still happening in the world, now we just don't have people working to try and circumvent it, right? Now, granted, we're not going to have, Alice and Sam go wake up Error, I guess, so there is that. But people like Needles and Inksoul are still out there doing their thing, theoretically. There are a couple little things here, too, though, like Alice, again, saying how much she hates the sun. Just, feel like that's still important. And Colin giving Alice a company phone so that she can be on call. Worst timeline. Sam and Gwen are in the pub. Teddy shows up and tells them both that he's got a job for them. And that his new job, wants to hire ex-OIAR staff. So this basically confirms it to me that Teddy works at one of the alternate third-party or paramilitary or whatever version, like Starkwell or something like that, Starkwall, groups that are trying to take down the externals, right? And he's trying to hire them on. Either that or possibly he's working for like an offshoot of the Institute or something. But to me, it just screams Starkwell. To me, that is absolutely what's happening here, And to me, in this timeline, we could wind up with, like, if they continue this what if, we could wind up with, like, Sam ultimately killing Alice or something like that as an agent of Starkwall, and that would be very tragic. It's cool. It gives us something to think about, right? But also, we already kind of felt like Teddy was doing that, So it's just a follow-up onto that. It's more information to clarify that that's probably the case, that Teddy is probably working for another organization that is trying to deal with externals in some way. And the saddest part of all this to me is Gwen talking about how she's been talking to her dad, and she turns down Teddy's offer because it seems like she's being dragged back to the family to do as the family wants her to do. And, you know, for all of Gwen's problems in Protocol, that's not a fate I'd wish on anybody, you know? And it just, seeing Alice and Gwen hate each other so much, but not the playful hate they have right now, like an actual hate, was just like, oof. I don't want this for them. And I don't think they're necessarily going to be getting along great in the next season of Protocol. I keep bumping the desk. I'm so sorry. But it won't be as bad as this, right? And Sam mentions that this is a pretty bleak timeline, and Alice makes a joke about a timeline where Colin builds an army of robots. So that could be another what if at some point. But when Colin walks up, it gets pretty awkward, and Sam leaves. He does say hi to Chester for me. And Alice just laughs it off. But it's just sad, right? Like, it's sad in a different way from the end of Protocol or the Fluff episode, for the way those two made me feel. Into season 1 of Protocol. Let me clarify that. It's sad in a very different way. This is just bleak. And yet again, I got my hopes up at the start of this, being like, ooh, it's a what if. They're going to be smashing all the computers. They're going to do exactly like Colin said. We're going to get to see them throwing computers into the ocean or something. That's going to be sick. And this was a lot more realistic. I got my hopes up a little too high, but it was good. I mean, it gave us, like I said, it gave us some more information on how oppressive Gwen's family is, the Bouchards, and also on Teddy's job and everything there. And there's just something really sad about the phrase ripped out all the old, when you know that Colin is going to get ripped into that system. I don't know. I feel like this is way too short for one of these. I'm so sorry. I know you're used to like 20, 30 minutes, but there's not really much more I can say about this. It was like 13 minutes, and it didn't feel like it at all. It went by real quick. Maybe I missed something, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because this just made me depressed. You know, like, there's a part of me that's like, I need to go back and listen to another episode from before just to feel better. And then another part of me like, no, use this depression, funnel it into the alchemy episode. No, I don't know. This was interesting. I'm glad they did it. This is not what I was hoping for from a what if, but this is probably the way they need to go. You know, I was hoping for something a little bit sillier, I guess. But we get a view of the darkest timeline where Celia doesn't get hired, Lena doesn't have to, like, she doesn't get fired from Trevor, you know. Gwen is stuck with her family, and Alice is stuck working days. It's kind of bad for everybody except for Colin, who made out just fine in this. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been Trey. This has been The Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. That what ifs have to offer.